What's up, guys? Tim Little, Matt Allen. Welcome back to Tactical Bassin, and welcome back to another episode in our 2025 Fall Buyer's Guide series. Today, we are talking about the best spinning reels. We're going to cover some key details and explain some stuff you never knew.
I'm just going to come out and say it. This is one of the most important videos of this entire Buyer's Guide series. If you pay attention to the details, this will impact your fishing. There are things about spinning reels that almost no one knows and no one understands. It took a lifetime of fishing for Tim and I to get to where we felt like we could sort of predict what reels we would like and not like. Most people have to go to a tackle shop, us included, sit there and spin them all, but spinning handles with no line on them doesn't really give you the picture, but you're in there trying to decide if you like this reel or that reel. Did you know that all of that can be predicted from a distance? You can shop online confidently once you understand the differences we are about to explain. We talked about this last year for the first time ever. Tim can sort of give you the backstory of how we learned this information, but regardless of brand, there are ways to completely predict what a reel will be like and what it is for so that you can shop and then fish confidently without any of the guesswork that has plagued all of us through the years.
Yeah, through the years, it's always been a guessing game. We didn't know when we purchased a reel or we went to check out a reel if we were going to like it or not. When brands came out with new versions of a reel, were we going to like it? What was it going to feel like? Is it going to have more of that buttery smooth feel, or is it going to have more of that solid kind of strength feel to it? And like Matt said, we basically understood this or figured this out by accident, trying to understand why we liked certain feels. And it wasn't until several years of us recommending different reels and trying each other's reels and stuff that we each had our own feel that we liked, and then certain reels kind of crossed over, and then we started playing around. Actually, I think you were playing around on some websites in different languages.
Correct.
And basically trying to Google translate it and learning that there's different families of reels. So we're going to talk about that today. You want to kick it off?
I do. Here we go. So here's the deal. These are all of our favorite reels from around the market. There are 3 brands present here. We know there are a lot of other brands on the market. We know there's a lot of other reels. But if you get down to the brass tacks, there are 2 brands that sort of head up spinning reels in the industry, and then everybody else falls in around them. And there are key reels here and there, one model over here, one reel at that company that are really nice. But Shimano and Daiwa are the biggest players in spinning reels today. We've also got a couple of Abu Garcia reels that we're going to talk about. But regardless of that, what we want to explain to you is the difference in these families of reels. We made such a big deal about this last year that for the first time ever in the US market, the brands themselves are actually starting to share this information. We're starting to see it come out. It would have been awesome if that had happened 20 years ago, but it didn't. Okay, and Shimano and Daiwa, with the same common goals of separating finesse and power, do it 2 completely different ways. We're going to explain all that for you. But let's kick it off with these 2 reels in the middle. These are both from Abu Garcia, okay? And these are stand-out reels. They are both very finesse-focused reels. They are higher-end reels. This is the Zenin line of reels, okay? We have the Zenin X, and then we have the Zenin LTX. I call them Zenin. Some people call them Xenon. It doesn't matter. We know what we're talking about here, right? So in the video description below this video, we're going to link for you every single reel that we talk about in the video. Where relevant, we will also give you our favorite sizes for those reels, although for some of them, you're going to be able to predict that in just a few minutes after we've given you the rundown. But all those links will take you straight to Tackle Warehouse. This video is no accident. It coincides with reels being on sale at Tackle Warehouse. That is a major part of why we're doing the Buyer's Guide series right now. We want to teach you this information to help you, and we wanted to do it at a time where there was cost savings for you. So these two reels, there are a lot of differences between them, but when we get to the Zenin line by Abu, very finesse oriented, very long casting reels. In both of them, I have found in my fishing that I prefer the 2500 size. For whatever reason, just the way they fish fits very well. They're very comfortable. The biggest difference between them, there's a variety, but the one that you will notice is a significant weight difference between them. There's about an ounce between them. And there are some significant dollars between them as well. But they are fantastic reels that we have been putting through the paces the last few years, and they have held up really well. Now, with that category closed, do you want to tackle the whole Shimano giant and then I'll tackle Daiwa?
The Shimano thing? Sure. Hopefully you guys have been following along this entire Buyer's Guide series, and what we're going to talk about, some of these reels you've probably seen on some of the combos that we've already discussed. Yes. And you will see this reel on that rod and this reel on that rod, and now things are going to click a little bit. After this video, you're going to understand why. Maybe did I need a finesse reel or some with a little bit stronger drag, or more of a core solid, more of a power reel. That is really the story that I'm going to try and tell today with Shimano. But kicking it off, I have two reels for you. And basically what you get with, when you start spending a little bit extra money, a little bit more money, you get durability and longevity. Shimano, Daiwa, Abu, you have reels that are going to last, right? When you're spending your hard-earned money, you want that stuff to last. So starting it off, we're going to start off here with the Shimano Neck Save. Now these two reels, the Neck Save and the Sedona, are two reels that are standalones. They don't fit into either of these two categories, so that's important. But you're getting a reel that's going to last a long time. You're getting a good drag. You're getting a real durable feeling reel. Okay, it's going to last. Has good cast distance. It's got a great drag in it. You're going to have more durable stuff. We don't want to go to the store and have to buy a new spinning reel every 6 months, okay? So that's what you're getting with these two reels. Now, with those set aside, let's jump into this family of reels. So this is the Core Solid family of reels. This is the MGL, the Magnum Light family of reels. If you don't pick up anything from this video, pick up this. This is your finesse line of reels. This is your power side of reels. This is the reel that's going to be a little bit heavier, but it's going to feel bomb-proof. It's going to have a real smooth drag, and it's made for bigger fish that are going to pull harder. This is made for fish for the lighter line, lighter finesse techniques, drop shots, that sort of stuff. But let's go ahead and talk about this core solid line.
Can I interrupt you for 1 second? This all came about for us because I grew up loving, let's call it the Shimano feel. Tim grew up loving the Daiwa feel. In general, they felt different.
They do feel different.
At least we thought, right? Until we dove into the lines. What we discovered, the more time we spent fishing together, is he had some Daiwas that I liked. I had some Shimanos that he liked. We never understood why. He's about to hit you with the why. Okay, back to you.
All right, back to me. So basically, what he's talking about, that Daiwa feel, I like that more free. It's not that I like it more, it's what I was used to. Yeah. That free floating, very lightweight handle turn, you know, that rotor spinning around. Just, I want to, when I pick up on something, I want that weight to be the fish, not the weight of me having to turn the handle, if that makes sense. So, Core Solid. Now that you get away from these two reels right here, and you kind of get around that $100 price point, that's where you really start having the choice, the split, the Y in the road. Okay, so the Core Solid, the Noski, the Shimano Noski is that entry-level reel in that Core Solid line. So, if you take anything away from this, understand that if you like one of these styles of, one of these models of reels, and you have an increased budget, and you want to purchase the next reel up in that line, now you can do that with confidence shopping online. You don't have to drive to your local tackle shop and hope that they have the reel that you want to sit there and spin the handle and feel. I know Matt's already talked about it, but that's why. Okay, so we're talking about the feel. The Noski, again, core solid. It's going to be a strong frame. On average, an ounce, ounce and a half, maybe even 2 ounces heavier than some of these guys. Okay, it's a durable, bomb-proof feel.
Yes.
So that Noski, that core solid's gonna have, they're gonna have deeper spools, they're gonna have really smooth drags. So if you're a guy that likes the Noski and you want to move up to the next reel in that core solid line, that power line, now you're going with the Ultegra. Okay, as you spend a little bit more money, you do get a little bit lighter reel, you get some added features. Daiwa, Shimano, they're kind of the kings at bringing down that technology into their lower models, their lower lines, as they go with their flagship reels and they fill it with all sorts of cool tech. The next model, it gets dropped down and then down and down. And so now you have some of these reels that don't cost a lot of money. We don't spend a lot of money on them, but they're way better than some of the top level reels just a few years ago. Yeah. Right? The advancements are awesome. It helps us, it benefits us all, right? So that Ultegra is a very good reel, just a bump of a price point up from that Noski. Well, let's keep going. If you have the Ultegra and you want to jump up to the next line, now you're talking about the Stratic FM. This is a newer reel. Again, I can already feel the difference in these two reels, okay? It's just a little bit different feel. Again, still bomb-proof, a little bit lighter. Again, like I said, you're gonna have a deeper spool. So if you're fishing around bigger fish, so out here on the Tennessee River, and you might have the opportunity to hook into a 20-pound striper or a 10-pound largemouth, and that thing, you don't want to burn up your drag. You don't want to run out of line. That's where you might lean towards this family of reels, okay? Next up, this reel right here is a reel that Matt has raved about for several years. This is the Shimano, the Twin Power. It is the second reel in line in that core solid line. A lot of tech in this reel. This is basically a second generation Stella, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
This reel is an amazing reel. This is a reel that if you're throwing, a lot of guys still throw a spinning reel for Texas rigs, little creature baits, lighter Carolina rigs, finesse jigs, a little bit lighter jigs,
water, jerk baits,
anything where you need a really smooth, stout, strong drag. You're going to want to lean towards this family of reels. But that Twin Power is an amazing reel. If you're a guy that likes to go up north and chase those big 5, 6, 7 pound smallmouth that are just going to burn drag, you need a lot of line, you need line capacity, that's an awesome reel. Now, last but not least, in this family of reels, and we'll jump into here shortly, the Shimano Stella. This is a reel, for the most part, I fish this family of reels. I like that feel, that MGL feel, that Daiwa feel, if you will. When I'm fishing around big fish, when I'm fishing around trophy fish, big smallmouth, I switch over. I typically go from the Accents to the Stella because I like that smooth drag. I like the line capacity. Again, the Stella, their flagship Shimano reel. This is quite a bit more money than the top of the line MGL reel. This is their flagship, and this reel is amazing. So if you're a guy that started with that Noski and you're working your way up, this guy right here is the top of the line, not only in this family, but in the Shimano line. Okay, now this family right here, if you're a guy that likes to throw a drop shot, if you're a guy that likes to shake a minnow, Demiki rig, if you're a guy that likes to throw lighter little hard baits, this is the line that I would recommend. This is the line that that feel that I like. He referred to it as that Daiwa feel. It's just that lighter resistance in the handle.
Handles that just sort of float.
They float and they just kind of turn themselves. Once you step out of this kind of, I'll call it the entry or budget price point reel, and you spend a little bit more money, now you can get into that MGL line, and you start off with this guy right here. This is the Miravel. It has that MGL, that lighter resistance in the handle, lighter body, lighter feel. This feels like it's bomb-proof. This is just lighter. It just has more of that finesse-y feel. So now looking back on some of those combos we built, it's all about balancing that rod with that right reel. You know, if that rod's a little bit heavier, we put a little bit heavier reel on the handle, kind of balance that thing out, and it makes that whole package feel lighter, okay? Next up in that MGL line is the Vanford. This is probably, without spending a ton of money, this is probably our most universal reel that we use. It's not super high-end price point, but it feels like a very expensive reel. It's very, very light, very smooth, buttery smooth. I mean, look at that. It's just awesome. Okay, but if you're a guy that wants to continue to work your way up, you'll see that we have these paired up with a lot of our Nico rig rods or our minnow shaking rods or drop shot rods. In the family, it's a medium priced reel, but it feels like it should be a lot higher priced.
Yeah.
Two more for you, and I'll turn it over to Matt. The Shimano Sustain. This is a reel just like the technology being dropped down from the Stella to the Twin Power to the Stratic. Same thing happens with the Accents to the Sustain. This is basically a previous model Accents. Extremely light, extremely smooth. I mean, I can almost reel this handle with just spinning the reel itself. I'm not going to get into all of the specs on these reels. You know, if you go to the Shimano, we'll link all these reels down below in the video description. If you click on description or the specifications on these reels, you'll see all the bullet points of the different tech that each of these lines of reels have, and you can kind of see what you like. But this guy right here is a stacked reel. It's mid price point in the family, but it is an insanely smooth, very light reel, which leads me to their flagship reel in the MGL, the Magnum Light Reel, the new Accents. You guys know that I like that feel. This is the majority of the reels that I own. I like the weight difference. I like the castability. These reels have a little bit larger spool on there, so it helps with limiting line twist. Every time you flip that bail and turn that, it's putting a line twist in your line. Having that bigger spool doesn't put as much twist in it. So I know Matt said he likes the, what'd you say, 2500? Some of these reels will have like a 3000 size spool, but the body themselves are still fairly small. So that's how they can, this is a 3000 size reel, but that's how they can minimize or decrease the weight, but have a little bit larger spool. So that is a very compact reel, very light. It's about 1.5 ounces lighter than the Stella. I mean, it's huge. You can feel the difference, okay? So it just depends on what feel do you like, and then what techniques are you throwing? Are you throwing more of that lighter line finesse stuff, or are you throwing something where you need to have line capacity, a big drag, a heavy drag, a smooth drag, and you need a bomb-proof reel?
All right, how about that? I wish that was published everywhere. That would have saved us a lot of money and time through the years. Would have helped a lot of other people, but it's here today.
The biggest thing now is that you understand this. Now that when we do these buyer's guides, or you're at home shopping online, now you know you're referencing back. Okay, yeah, I have a Noski. I like that feel.
Yes.
I'm gonna go this line. Or I have a Miravel. I would like to try a Vanford. So now you can shop with confidence, have people buy stuff during the sale for the holidays with confidence, but you will know what you're getting before holding it in your hand.
Yes. So now I'm going to jump into Daiwa, but the biggest thing in your personal fishing and in your future shopping is just making the decision, do you lean to the power side or do you lean to the finesse side? And that may change with technique, like Tim said. We both use both. It just took us time to understand what they were for. Right? Now, Daiwa takes a very different approach to the exact same concept with 3 exceptions, sort of 3.5 exceptions. There's one other reel that's got a couple nuances to it. But as a whole, all of Daiwa's reels, and I'll show you the exceptions, okay? But if you enjoy Daiwa, some people just love a brand, period. They have made their mind up. I'm a Daiwa guy. I'm a Shimano guy. I'm whatever, right? I only throw Lew's. Whatever it is. If this is your family of reels, we're about to make it, honestly, easier than that. It's about to get really simple. Here's what you need to know with Daiwa. With 3 exceptions in all of your bass reels. All of the reels in the 1,000 and 2,000 sizes have 11 pounds of drag. As soon as you go to a 2,500 size reel, you jump to 22 pounds of drag. And there are only 3 exceptions to that. We'll cover them as we move up the price points. So what does that tell you? That tells you that if this is a drop shot, do it on a 2,000. If this is a shaky head, do it on the 2,500 or larger. Just based on technique, you know which size in order to fall into a finesse built reel or a power built reel. It's that easy. That drag power is telling you what's inside that reel. It's telling you whether or not it's designed for finesse or for power. That's it. So 1,000 and 2,000 size reels, finesse, 2,500 and up, power. Now, once you get into the larger 4,000s, 5,000s, you're leaving bass fishing and the drags start changing. But that's not stuff that we need today, right? So after that, in both families, it all comes down to price point. Be honest with yourself about your drag. Your drag, where did that come from? Your budget, regardless of where you are. You know, don't blow your budget. Set a budget, whatever it is, whether that's 50 bucks, 200 bucks, 800 bucks. Wherever your budget is, now you're going to fall into the family of reels, but you're going to know where you fall. There's no more guesswork. Just like what Tim talked about, Daiwa has this incredible trickle-down effect. Up at the very top, we have the Exist. And then from there, we step down to Certate and we go down, down, down in price, all the way down. But the things that are in those reels, those technologies, are rolling downhill. Every time a reel is revamped, more tech rolls from above. So as the years go by, there's more technology arriving in the budget-friendly reels. So if you're in a budget category, don't sweat it. Don't feel like you have inferior gear. Your gear is so superior to the budget gear of 5, 10, 20 years ago. It's mind-boggling. So let's start from the ground up, okay? First one, we have the Revros. That is the most budget-friendly reel. You're down there in like the 50s, 60s, somewhere down around there. So much pricing has changed this year that I'm not about to try and quote prices as we roll through these. I can't do it. But the Revros is an amazing reel for the money. Extremely durable. And you now know, depending on whether it's finesse or power, which size to get. From there, we step up to the Regal, which got a revamp last year. So it's got a whole lot of new tech in it. So if you've got it in the budget to make the step, make the step. But you don't have to worry about whether it's finesse or power. You already know. From there, we go to the Fuego LT. An unbelievably popular reel, just over the $100 mark. Bang for the buck, it's incredible. Now, right around here, there's one that I don't have present, and that is called the Eliminator. We can't have them all. We already explained this in other videos. We're not going down the rabbit hole again of why there's a few reels missing this year. There are, but the Eliminator is one of our 3.5 exceptions. The Eliminator has completely different drag powers than any other Daiwa reel. The reason why is it was designed specifically for power fishing with braid. So if you're on a budget, but you are mean to your gear, the Fuego is not your reel. The Eliminator is. Simple, right? Simple. Let's keep jumping up in price. We get to the Tatula MQLT. Even more tech piles in. But we're back to that standard 11 pounds and 22 pounds of drag. We jump up from there. The Ballistic MQLT, brand new reel, total revamp. All kinds of tech just rolled downhill. And again, if we were trying to talk the tech at every price here,
We'd be here for a long time.
we're going to be here all day. So I'm ignoring that for now. I just want you to understand the families. Our next step from there, again, up in price, we get to Tatula Elite. And here is that 3.5. This is the half, okay? The drag does not change. 11 and 22, still the same. What changes with Tatula Elite is spool size. This one is completely unique from the whole family. A lot of anglers, there has been this trend the last few years of guys going to 4,000 size reels in bass fishing. And it's guys that are on really clear water fisheries, be that Great Lakes, blueback herring lakes, guys that want just absolute maximum distance. But those reels, 4,000 size reels, are massive. So when you put them on bass rods, they balance like garbage. So what Daiwa, I mean, I'm just being blunt, right? So what Daiwa did is in this one model, your Tatula Elite, they took a 4,000 size spool and put it on a 3,000 size body. And they took a 3,000 size spool and put it on the next size down body. So you've got that larger spool, way higher capacity, still on the correct size frame at a reasonable weight so that it's not uncomfortable to fish with. Next up, here's where we start seeing major deviation, these next two, and there are only 3 left. Here we jump up into the 400s. Okay, we're making major moves here.
Dollars.
Yes. 400s, okay? We're moving up the price chain. We arrive at the Luvius ST that was launched at ICAST this year. The lightest spinning reel on the market today, at least in the US market. This thing is crazy. If you guys were watching the other day when I handed a high-end reel to Tim and it had this reel on it, what happened on his face was stunning, right? You were shocked.
Yep.
It's insane how light they are. Okay, this is the second reel that completely deviates. The first one was the Eliminator, where it was designed for braid and power fishing on a budget. Number 2 is the Luvius ST. This reel, in the 1,000 and the 2,000, only has 6 pounds of drag. When you jump up to the largest size, you arrive at 11 pounds of drag, which is what the rest of the reels have in the tiny sizes. It is a truly dedicated finesse reel through and through, regardless of size. This is your hair jig, drop shot, Ned rig reel. True finesse. If it is in your budget, that Luvius ST at its price is mind-boggling. It is. All right, you ready for the next one? Because the next one is our 3rd deviation in this Daiwa family, and that is the Certate. The Certate is the only reel in the Daiwa spinning family that all sizes have really high drag capacity. It is a pure power reel. Straight up. By chance, that was the first high-end Daiwa I ever bought. And I was like, hey, this is great. It's a power reel. No joke, that would be the one that I would love right out the gate, right? The Certate, whether you need line capacity or not, is for power fishing. Because you might be the guy who loves to multi-species fish, and you take your same drop shot rod and you turn around and you're fishing your creek and you're catching great big walleye or some other species, and you want more power. Or maybe you like to go out in the fall and chase steelhead and salmon as they're coming in. You don't need the capacity, but you need the drag power. And then last but most certainly not least, we arrive back up at that Exist, the absolute flagship of Daiwa. And what do you know? You're back on that 11 pounds and 22 pounds of drag. Right back where it all makes sense. When somebody stands back and takes the time to explain it,
Or line it up for you.
spend a freaking fortune and an unbelievable amount of time, once you've seen it, it's predictable. Now, all the guests, I mean, if we had this 20 years ago, Tim, it would have been so much easier. We wouldn't have to own all these. But the reality is that you, sitting at home, sitting on a boat, sitting at work, wherever you are, now have the power to 100% predict exactly how each reel is going to behave. And without question, you can get the reel that you need at the price point that you're comfortable with. And it is, again, no mistake that right now they are all on sale at Tackle Warehouse. We did that on purpose just to help you guys out. Guys, this is spinning reels, and this information changes how bass fishermen shop. It does. We wish it was out there more. We will continue to shout it from the rooftops. You should too, because the more information that we can get out there, the easier it will be for anglers to get exactly what they need and not be disappointed. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We're rolling 7 days a week right now, which means tomorrow morning, we'll see you to talk about casting reels. We'll see you then.
See you guys.